Hey humans, how's it going? It's Shani today here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to something that I've really wanted to do for the longest time, given that we've just entered the silly season of events in our gaming community. And now, over the next couple of weeks, a lot of you are going to be attending a lot of various events and stuff, and I wanted to put together my tips and tricks tutorial on how to survive these events, come out being really healthy, happy, and making sure that you have the best time possible at whatever event you do plan on attending. Now, I do also want to make mention that today's video is sponsored by Rage Expo, which is happening on the 27th, 28th, and 29th of September in Johannesburg at the Ticket Pro Dome. If you're looking for tickets, they are in the description below. I do also have information on how to win tickets via me later on in the video as well, so make sure you hang around to the end to find out how you can score some tickets and then find out more about meet and greet details as well. But let's jump into the tips and tricks that I've accumulated over the between 13 and 15 years of experience of going to events and being healthy during these events, and basically making sure that I have the best possible time during this experience, and I want to share all of that information with you. So let's get into it. So first off, in my survival guide on how to get through any form of event or convention is you're going to want to stay hydrated. Now, if you're specifically in South Africa, which obviously I'm in South Africa, so therefore, hello, relatable, but we live in a very warm climate and we have just gone into spring/summer. We are a very warm country, so water is like essential to survival, regardless of who you are and where you come from, right? But given the warmer climates and that we are going into a warmer season, that you're going to want to stay hydrated. Now, different events will have different T's and C's when it comes to bringing in your own water or bringing in a water bottle. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go onto the website or of that specific event, or you're going to want to check on your ticket T's and C's, or you're going to want to get in touch with them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it's easier for you to get in touch with the event organizers themselves and find out what that venue allows. So some of the venues do allow you to bring in an empty bottle of water. Some people have no problem with you bringing in a full bottle of water of your own, but then also other venues will have, obviously everyone will have water on sale everywhere, but sometimes that's your only option. So then you're going to want to include water into your budget for the day, the weekend, however many days you're planning on going to the event. But the biggest part is make sure that you're continually staying hydrated. Even though you're standing around not really doing much, because you're not doing like physical activity, you don't actually realize how much you're really exerting yourself with being on your feet for that long, doing all of the things at events and doing all of the stuff that the events have to offer. So personally, from experience, I know that the Ticket Pro Dome / Rage Expo have no problem with you bringing in a water bottle. They've never stopped me in the past. I don't know if it's going to change this year, but usually I steer clear from tap water during events time. That's just a personal thing with me. So I will still be buying bottled water anyway, but I do end up decanting it into my own water bottle that I bring with me, just so that I know I've always got it there. So obviously a very big important one, make sure that you're not fainting, make sure that you're staying hydrated, all of the other stuff. So that's probably most important, is to make sure that you're hydrated. And yeah, now that I'm done being a mom, let's move on to the other stuff. Next, you're going to be on your feet a lot. You might think that you're not going to be, but you are. There's lines, there's everything else to contend with, but then also there's a lot of walking. Shout out to all of the Pokemon eggs that I hatch every year over Rage Expo, hashtag just saying. But you're going to want to wear comfortable shoes. Now, I tend to shy away from things like Converse and Tommy Tackies this time of year, although Tommy Tackies aren't really in that fashion that much anymore. Like, I wore them even before they were the thing, and then I wore them after the thing, and everyone's like, oh my god, why are you still wearing Tommy Tackies? And I'm like, because I wore Tommies before Tommies were a thing, can we not? Anyway, besides the point, personal rants aside, you're going to want to wear comfortable shoes. Basically, if you're a mom bringing your children, or if you're tagging along with friends, don't wear uncomfortable shoes. You're going to hate your life for it. Stay clear from heels, obviously, but cosplay is an entirely different conversation that we'll have a little bit later on in the video. But basically, comfortable shoes are going to make or break your expo. So don't wear your brand new shoes that you just got unless you've broken them in already. But do not try and break them in at the expo. You will have blisters. But with that being said, if your shoes, even though they're tried and tested, you're still going to want to take plasters with you in case you do start developing any form of blister or irritation. You never know. You might not be wearing the correct sock to shoe combination, and the sock might be riding down and that riding back on the back. Speaking from experience, wear comfortable shoes, but also take 1 or 2 plasters with you just in case. You never know, you might not need it, but someone else in your friend group might. But on the heels comments, this obviously pertains to cosplay. Now, I am not a cosplayer. I never claim as such. I never will claim as such because I have such a high respect for cosplayers in the community, both locally and internationally. And I take my hat off for the cosplay artists who are able to go through an entire day of convention, entire weekend's worth of convention, wearing heels, wearing really hot costumes, wearing wigs, wearing everything else that goes into doing cosplay. Huge respect. But with that being said, if you are going to be cosplaying and you are going to be in heels, just wow, good luck, Godspeed, and everything else in between. But a more important kind of general comment that I didn't want to pass about cosplay is that cosplay is not consent. Now, this is quite a serious topic, which I know a lot of cosplayers and a lot of the cosplay tournaments will also be, or cosplay competitions rather, will be stating a lot over the next couple of days, and even at the events as well. There'll be signboards and everything about how cosplay is not consent. But I can't believe that we still need to explain this in today's day and age, that cosplay does not mean consent. You can look, you can admire, you can compliment, but keep your hands to yourself. I don't care how someone happens to be dressed. They're expressing themselves and you have no right to touch them. So cosplay does not mean that you are consented to touch someone. They spent a lot of time on those costumes, A, and B, there's personal space for a reason. That is just a little bit more on a serious side for cosplay, but in the same breath, some of the cosplay builds are really big and very elaborate, so probably not the best if you see someone that you're a really big fan of. Probably not the best to like try going in for a hug, because you don't know what's going to potentially be upset during that. You don't know what's going to break. You might not, I don't know, just don't hug. Fist bumps are my go-to during events, because A, germs, which, yeah, you don't want to get sick, but also it's just easiest, it's safest, and then also no cosplay will get harmed in the making of this fist bump. But as I said, not an actual cosplayer. This is just from what I've learned over the years of going to events and interacting with cosplayers at these events. But that's just a thing about cosplay and everything else about do not touch the people. Also, don't try hug them, especially if they're in these big, majestic armored builds and everything else. But anyway, besides the point, that is the cosplay segment, and we're going to segue into lines. Now, I already mentioned how you're going to be standing in a lot of lines, and that's why you need comfortable shoes, but you don't actually realize how long you're going to be standing in lines for, depending on what you're there for, what you're standing in line for. I remember the line for the Funko Pops was like constant, all day, every day. So keep in mind that if you're going to something that's particularly popular, you're going to stand in a longer line. You're going to be standing in the line for food, you're going to be standing in line for drinks, you'll be standing in line for whatever the case may be, to try a new game, to speak to an artist, or whatever the case may be. You're going to be standing in a lot of lines. But what I can tell you is basically prioritize what you want to get out of your event experience. If you want to make sure that you get that limited edition, whatever the case is that you're looking for, either a hardware deal, any other con specific exclusive deal, or whatever the case may be, and you know that you want to get there while there's still stock, obviously you want to get to the event earlier. The earlier you get to the event, or if you get to the event before the doors are open, you're going to have a really long line. So obviously you're going to be one of the people who don't necessarily camp out, but the people who try and get there as early as possible to get as close to the front of the line, to the doors when they open, as possible. So that's one way to approach it. The other way is if you just want to go to the event and have a great day, you're not specifically looking for anything that you're worried is going to run out of stock or anything, then go a couple of hours after doors have opened, because then all of the lines have already dissipated for the original line that stands out and is always so crazy outside the dome if you're thinking of Rage specifically. But then go a couple of hours after the doors have opened. You're going to be able to walk in and out for it much more easily. Yes, there will be a lot of people on the show floor, but you won't have that initial, oh my god, I have to stand in a line to get inside the venue kind of thing. So gauge your priorities on what you want to do, where you want to do it, and how you want to approach your specific event experience. As with every event should come with any form of rough event budget on what you're allowing yourself to spend. If you don't live within those parameters, cool, spend to your heart's content. Maybe this is the one time of year that you decide to splurge on hardware deals and event-specific deals or anything else in between. But most of us have to live by a budget. Now, it is very important to set yourself a very loose budget, because obviously some things might cost more. You might see something that you didn't expect to see there. So always give yourself a little bit of leeway. But what I find helps me is I give myself a cash budget. So you don't obviously want to be walking around with that much cash, but I know when I have a card, I'm very, very like happy-go-lucky, swipey. Whereas when I have cash, I'm more likely to not spend. I know I'm one of the few in this regard, and many people are like, I'll spend all my cash, but I'm very, very caution when it comes to swiping card. But either way, make sure that you're staying within your guidelines, because you don't want to overspend and then not be able to buy something that you see on maybe the second or third day that you missed on the first day. You never know what the case may be, but try and set yourself a really loose budget to work within the parameters of what you can spend at Rage. So that's obviously, you need to include your food for there, you need to include your water budget for there, and then if you're Ubering to and from the venue, maybe that has to be within your parameters as well. And when it comes to things that you know more than one vendor is going to be selling, do a price check. See who's selling it at the best price. Maybe some people have a better deal where you buy 2 for X amount, whereas if you buy 3, you buy it for such and such amount. So it is good a little bit to do a little bit of research before. A lot of vendors will be posting their sales specials and everything before the doors will be opening. So good to take note of. But anyway, I always find it's very important that I keep myself to a strict budget. So I thought I'd give you that tip as well, because hey, money don't grow on trees, yo. But with that said, now you've bought all your stuff and now you're carrying it around all awkwardly. Now, I always take a bag to any form of event. I have a specific bag that is literally in my family known as Chantel's Rage bag. I bought it from my first Rage Expo and I've used it every Rage Expo since. So make sure that you take a bag with you. Maybe it's a little bit chilly in the morning, you've got a hoodie on. Maybe you want to take the hoodie off, put that in the bag. You've bought a bunch of stuff, you can put that in the bag. You get given a lot of flyers, you get given a lot of stuff, and eventually carrying stuff in your hands, especially if it gets heavy, does eventually get a little bit annoying. You don't want to walk all the way to your car to put it back in the car, and then it gets hot and stuff in the car. Anyway, besides the point, it's just a mess. So bring a bag with you, try and fit as much of it as possible. Obviously don't bring a really tiny bag if you're planning on buying like giant things. But I always find that bringing a bag that's as close to empty as possible is like the winning move. Honestly, I have literally done every single Rage with this particular bag right here, and without fail, I know that I can pack it to capacity and always have room for extra stuff if I need to. Now, chatting about bags and putting things in bags, you're gonna want to have stuff already in that bag before you leave the house. Now, obviously, you're gonna want to have a wallet with the cash or the cards that you're gonna need, driver's license, obviously, proof of identification, like all the normal stuff that you leave the house for to like generally go into public places. I don't know. So those are good to have. If you have any medication that you might need to be bringing with you as well, make sure you have that. I always have antihistamine and celestamine with me because I'm allergic to everything, and you never know when Shawnee's gonna have an allergic reaction to something. But more importantly, you're obviously going to want to bring things like phone chargers and power banks and portable chargers and those types of things. I remember back in the day where you used to have to bring a separate digital camera to your phone, but now you basically bring your phone, and yeah, just bring the things. We've moved past the era of like selfie sticks, so don't bring a selfie stick. Don't be that person. I feel like everyone has like genetically got longer and longer arms as we go. I'm totally kidding, by the way, but you don't see selfie sticks as much anymore. If you're planning on vlogging, if you're planning on doing your own content, then bring whatever you need to bring in order to make said content. But I find a lot of people end up forgetting things like power banks and chargers and those types of things, so double check before you do leave the house. But the most important thing to have here in your bag, apart from the water to obviously stay hydrated, is make sure that you've secured your tickets for the event. Now, tickets are still on sale. You can go find all of the information in the description below, but obviously you're going to want to make sure that you've remembered your tickets. So either you've printed them out, or maybe you have to produce your name at the door, or you have them on your cell phone. So I don't know what the process is. I know some events don't allow you to produce them on your phone, especially if they're complimentaries. So then you'll have to print it out and print out the email that comes with it in any shape or form. I don't know. But just find out, once again, the same with the water bottles from the venue. Find out what the T's and C's are with regards to the tickets. Now, obviously, we're going to want to try and save the environment. So if you don't have to print them out, then don't. Rather show them on your phone, or if you've got like the little ticket stub from like CompuTicket or whatever, make sure you have your tickets. I have once legitimately gone to Rage and forgotten my tickets and had to turn around and go home and fetch them because they were magneted onto the fridge. So don't do that. Learn from Shawnee's mistakes. Granted, that was like Rage 2 or 3 for me, and now we're like 10 years down the line, besides the point. But speaking of tickets, I do have a bunch of ticket giveaways going down at the moment on my various platforms. So if you're following me on Instagram, you check out for this post and you'll be able to go enter over there. If you're following me on Facebook, make sure you check out for this post. I have a ticket giveaway going over on there, and then I am currently running an exclusive giveaway over on my Discord for my Discord members. So if you haven't joined my Discord and you want to enjoy that little bit of a community community and a little bit more one-on-one conversation time, then go join the Discord. It's been in the description below for like forever, ever since I developed the Discord, since created the Discord. I didn't develop Discord, I'm just saying it's a thing I use. Don't take any credit there. But I am doing a bunch of ticket giveaways, and all of those links are going to be down in the description below. I'm announcing winners on the 23rd, so you still have a week. But make sure you try and secure your spot. Otherwise, ticket sale link is in the description below. Now you're sorted. You know what you're taking, you know what bag you're taking, but now you need to decide which friends you're going with. Obviously, those friends also need to have tickets. But I found that at events is always best with people that you know are going to enjoy the event and enhance that event experience for you. So I've had it happen to my friends in the past, so never me, because I always make sure that I'm going with people who are going to want to stick out the entire 8 to 12 hours with me. But I have had friends in the past arrive with people and then unfortunately have to leave after 2 hours, after basically walking around the show floor once, because the people they came with didn't want to hang around for longer. So once again, you need to prioritize how you want your event experience to go down. If you only want to go to Rage for a couple of hours, that's cool, by all means. But then make sure you're coming with someone who also has the same game plan in mind, and they maybe don't want to spend a full 8 hours there. So gauge who you're going to be going with. Make sure if you're bringing people with, make sure that they're aware of, okay, guys, we're going to be here for the whole day, or guys, we're going to be here for a couple of hours, so make sure you see what you want to see, and then we get going. But the correct group of friends, the correct group of people that you do go to the event with is vital, because who you go to an event with makes or break your events. It makes it a fun, pleasant experience, and it'll just enhance all of the great moments and memories that you can create at those events. Whereas if you're taking someone with that's going to complain all the time, or just wants to sit down, or wants to leave the whole time, or is miserable, then that's going to bring a damper onto your event, and you obviously don't want that. So make sure you've prepared everyone that is going to be tagging along, if it's their first rage, if it's their 10th rage, I don't know what the case is, but make sure you're bringing people with that are all on the same page. So Rage and all other events like this are obviously the best way to get to see people that you only maybe see once a year, or you've only ever known online, and you finally get to meet them in person. So it's always great to make sure you have like a little bit of a home base, kind of where, okay, if we get lost, make sure we're meeting at this and this place. Like, because expos are huge, and sometimes the signal isn't great, and it falls over, and you can't phone anyone anyways, or they maybe can't hear their phones. So I had, because I've gotten a little bit older and therefore wiser now, but when I was younger, I mean, my first rage was when I was like 13 years old. I lie. I think my first rage, I must have been 11 or 12 years old. I might have been a little bit older, I don't know. But basically, I had an agreement with my brother, who I used to tag along to these events with, was if we ever got separated, there was a specific meeting point that I knew I would go wait at, and he would go look for me there, or vice versa. Basically, always make sure that you have a frame of reference of, if we do happen to get separated and we can't get each other on the phone, then make sure that you're meeting at this and this place, because this is our like a rendezvous point. So that's just with regards to friends. But most importantly, I want to discuss about where I'm going to be, and what I'm going to be doing at Rage. Now, obviously, this video is sponsored by Rage Expo, and part and parcel to that is I am taking over the Rage Instagram account from the Thursday to the Monday of the event. Now, I'm really excited about this, because the Thursday I'll be able to do some behind the scenes stuff, so make sure you're following Rage on Instagram. And then, more importantly, I will be doing a daily wrap-up over on their IGTV, so basically go follow the Rage Instagram account. There's going to be a lot of stuff. I'll be posting stories, I'll be doing a whole bunch of things, I'll be finding out what you want to know. If you're only coming on the Sunday and you're watching the stories on the Saturday, ask, and maybe I can show you some like things that you're preparing yourself for the following day. So I'll be doing a Rage Instagram takeover, and then I will also be taking over the NAG Twitter account for the weekend. So make sure you're following Rage on Instagram and NAG on Twitter, and you will be seeing my face on there a lot for the Rage Expo. I'm going to be trying to bring as much of the event to your faces as possible through a screen. Because not everyone has the opportunity to attend Rage Expo, because it's far. If you don't live in Johannesburg, it's far. I live in Pretoria and it's far. Now, apart from the takeovers, I'm also going to be participating in the EVTech and MSI Hero Cup, which is taking place for charity. You can read the press release in the description below. But I'm going to be one of the competitors. I've been sorted into a team. Since I know he's already announced by the time this video goes live, I'm actually going to be in a team with Grant Hines. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've been getting some Apex hours in, because I'm not the biggest player of Apex, but it is all for charity, and it's going to be a bunch of fun. But you can catch me on the Saturday, which is the 28th of September. I will be playing Apex with Grant Hines and another unannounced gaming individual in the country. I can't announce who it is just yet, but the third person in our team is also going to be competing on that day. Our specific slot is going to be on Saturday, the 28th of September, between 12 and 1, so you can come check us out on the MSI Hero stand, and we're going to be playing some Apex. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a kill race, but we're going to be playing some Apex Legends. It's all for charity. Really super excited. Read the press release in the description below. It's really for a great cause, and obviously a whole bunch of us are very excited to be able to compete and then hopefully maybe make it into the next round or whatever the case may be. I don't know how the tournament structure actually is going to be working, but all I know is I'm going to be the person with a controller plugged into the PC, because if I'm expected to do mouse and keyboard, that is just not going to work, and I'm going to go sit in a corner and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, whereas controller, I definitely have a lot more chance of being able to eliminate people. But besides the point, that is what I will be doing. Lastly, I'm going to be doing a meet and greet. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Do you want me to do a meet and greet every single day of Rage? Because I know different people come on different days. Or do you want me to lump it into one specific day over the weekend? So obviously, I'd love to meet as many of you as physically possible. So I'm probably leaning towards doing like a little bit of a meet and greet segment each day. But more importantly, make sure that you are following me on A, Twitter, and B, Instagram, because all of these details will be announced closer to the time of exactly where and when those meet and greets / one individual singular meet and greet will be taking place. So make sure you're following me A on Twitter and B on Instagram. If you have both, great, follow me on both so you don't miss the notification. But that is what I have planned and up my sleeve for Rage Expo. I'm really excited. Naturally, I need to go do the math, but it's either at my 12th or 13th year if I'm not mistaken. I am a huge fan of Rage Expo. I'm super stoked that they brought me on board to do some content again this year. Once again, make sure you're following Rage Instagram and Nag's Twitter, because they'll be posting a ton of content over on that side. Then lastly, just a final reminder about the ticket giveaways I currently have running. There's one on my Facebook, there's one on my Instagram, and there's one in my Discord. Now, follow me on Twitter. There will be another giveaway closer to the time as well to win yourself some tickets to Rage Expo. There are double day passes, which means that you can take yourself and a friend. If you have any tips and tricks that you'd like to share with the rest of us, let us know in the comments below. Tweet me, post on Instagram, whatever the case may be. I'd love to hear from your insights as well, because obviously every person experiences events differently. So maybe I've left something out that has never affected me in the past, but maybe you've got something or a really handy tip and trick that you can share with the rest of us. But anyway, that is going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. I'm going to go play more Apex now to try and get good at the game. Besides the point, I hope you did enjoy the video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. Remember that we all human differently, and I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers!